Welcome back to another episode of TwistedTubz podcast. I am your host, Stephen Tuberty, aka TwistedTubz, and look who came back. It's Barry Fahy, aka Being Baz. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thanks very much, Dobes. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. No, it is. It's great to have you back on because, look, we had a great chat the last time. I think we covered a lot of ground, but obviously, you look at the body of work that and this isn't even just the work, personal lives and everything else, but I think we've done and created so much between all of our, like myself, you, Paddy, and all the Badgers and all the lads. We've created so much within such a short space of time. I don't think we even covered, I don't even think we covered everything or even possibly could cover everything in the last episode that we did.
Yeah, so it's mad how, it felt like we talked about everything, but at the same time, there's so much we were missing that we were like, oh yeah, let's do it again.
100%. I mean, just to kick it off straight off the bat, we briefly mentioned it in your interview episode, but the perished, because that was such a big deal for everyone attached to it. And I know 100%. It was a massive for Paddy personally, but everyone that worked in it, I know it really was a massive feat that we had gotten to at that point. But just to get your perspective on it, because I know I was involved obviously in pre-production things with makeup and tests and things, but I was not attached to the full hog of the movie.
Yeah.
But just your experience and just how proud you were of that entire project.
Yeah, the Perished is probably beside Boy Racer as the biggest accomplishment I think we've ever had, as far as even my personal side of things, but also Celtic Badger Media. I think we showed ourselves to be a professional powerhouse of content through making that film, because not only was it very ambitious for the money that we put up, it was a timely story. It was a well thought out story. Our crew was the most professional crew we've ever had. We had a full video village with, in-ears audio for Paddy, so that not only could he see the frames that were being shot, he could hear the dialogue that was being recorded. So Paddy was essentially watching the movie as he was directing it, which was such a huge step up. And I think Paddy had said that would be how he does things going forward, and it's the way to go. It makes things so much better. We did a lot of big emotional scenes, and our crew was very respectful of that. Gave the actors the time they needed to get into those headspaces to be the best that they could be. But it also still felt like home. Everyone still had fun in between takes and between set changes and stuff like that. And we were on a very tight schedule. We shot it in 12 days, full feature in 12 days, which is pretty crazy.
Break that down, man.
Yeah,
12 days.
I know. It's the first time we ever had A-cam, B-cam. So we doubled our coverage purely from running two cameras. So that made things so much easier in the edit. Aaron did the first pass of the edit. I took on a big bulk of the edit after he had left for Canada. Paddy did all the sound mix and sound sync for editing. And then we actually hired for the first time someone to do sound design and sound mix. Evan, who did the audio, did all the onset audio, also did the entire score, bar one or two licensed tracks that we got. And yeah, it was the biggest production by far that we'd ever done. I think it was one of the most successful ones we've ever done so far. It ended up picked up by the Horror Collective, and it's on sale and in Amazon on the US, PlayStation Store in the US. Please check it out. We got an incredible poster artist on to design the poster, and it's just...
I'm on it. That was what I was doing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were casually signaling as check me out. And I guess going from that, the cast were phenomenal. and really put their all into everything as well. Like Courtney, who was on, I think she was on 86 of the 90 something pages, which was crazy. Fiach, Oisin, Lisa, and yourself all did a phenomenal job. I don't know how you didn't get a concussion more often than you did. In that suit.
Not to say I've forgotten it, because I haven't, but the fact that you just brought that up, my God, yeah.
But like, I know your visibility was pretty poor, and I know you did, crawl into things every now and then.
Oh yeah, but do you want to know why that happened? It was because it was. I remember saying it to Paddy. It was, and I think I realized it more so. There's a scene, without giving anything away, that I come out in a hallway and I have to turn and go in a door. You know the scene I'm on about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm so low to the ground, and because that suit was heavy and the mask was made of like hard based silicone, the amount of heat and sweat and everything that was just like in the mask. So every time I go forward like this and go like that with my head, the mask would come down as I was turning. So I think I ended up hitting the door frame and all at one point.
Yeah.
It was because it got so wet in there because of just the silicone and sweat. It's a disgusting image, really, but that's what happened.
That it is. I think The Perished is one of the crowning achievements of Celtic Badger Media so far. Yeah. I say so far because I already know Paddy has some absolute belters in the works that I can't wait to share and start working on. But I'm so unbelievably proud of that film and the way it came together. And I know it's a heavy subject, and I know horror isn't for everyone, but if you do check it out, please let us know, because we worked our fucking asses off for it. Paddy is still working his ass off for it. So it would be cool to have more people see it. Sorry?
Genuinely does. I said Paddy is the man that doesn't sleep.
Yes, absolutely.
He's always grinding. But no, I mean, on a personal level, going back to The Parish for just two more seconds, it's for me personally, I found, and I don't know if by the time when we got to the process of shooting that, I don't know, because of because obviously I'm getting older, the mindset changes and things. Because if you look back at the earlier days, I was always like questions, hyper, off my face, drinking Red Bull. I was always wound up. But I think on The Parish, I felt it anyway, because I remember I had a conversation with Paddy on this. I was starting to feel a shift in my approach to the acting thing.
Yeah.
Because of how there was no, and I mean, you can tell me if this is true, because obviously you might have a different idea of it, but I never felt like there was, if you look back at all the other movies, The Parish, for me, I felt there was a very different demeanor about how I approached it.
It absolutely was.
Very laser focused, but then how I realized it was is, obviously, I said, can't name it because I haven't gone out into the word yet, but the movie that we did after that, the feature that came after that, there was the same mindset came to that as well. It was very laser focused. And for me, it was weird. The Perished, even though I was under a mask and under a costume, and I was like, I was playing a creature, I found my process was very different. And I just thought it was for that film, but it seemed to stay afterwards.
Well, you know what? Going back to something that you mentioned in the last episode, when we started doing stuff together, you would ask a lot of questions about the gear and about what I'm using and why I'm doing this and why I'm doing that. I think after years of working together, I think you've got to the point where you're like, oh, I understand what he's doing. Yeah. Like you may not want to go and set it up yourself, but you were like, oh, I understand why he's doing this, or why he's moving the camera here, and why he's moving this light. And once you understand that, you don't focus on that. Then you're like, oh wait, I have a job to do. I can focus on that. So I think that's a big part of it. And the fact that we've done so much together, and you and Paddy had talked so much about the character, not just like, oh, I'm going to be a creature and wear a costume and make silly gestures. You asked genuine questions like, why does this creature move this way? And why does it feel this way? And And because you and Paddy had that conversation, it meant the character meant more to you because you understood it more. You went more in depth into who this character is, not just, I'm just going to wear a big rubber suit. And that approach carried over into the next film, again, working with Paddy and talking a lot about the character and the meaning behind it and why this character feels this way. And I think taking that approach to acting now is been really good for you. And like, those two films are by far your most amazing pieces of work. And I would throw The World as I See It in there as well as being another phenomenal piece of work for you. I know that was more difficult with more things on your plate, but they're essentially kind of the last three films that we worked on, and you're only showing progression, which is nothing but fucking amazing.
That genuinely is great to hear, because you know yourself, man. It's I've always said it. We're in a business, or we're in a lane of where everyone, not so much diva, but everyone's kind of insecure in their own way. Not in a shitty way, but just, you know, they always feel they could do better. They always feel that they can be better. Do you know what I mean? And even if you are hitting it out of the park and everything, you've guaranteed, as I said a while ago, you know, you're going to go, oh, please don't make me shave my beard because my fucking chin is fat under here. Because, you know, your brain is still human, and you have these crazy.
But I think if you ever get to the point though where you're just like, well, that's it, I'm as good as I'll ever be, that's when people will come pass you out. Because
I've never been that way, Dobes. I mean, I think and this is the crazy thing, is how I say it. The reason I say it is because when I started kind of coming in with Celtic Badger, like I was the guy that came in and I had made a feature film. But I was not the guy that was like, I made a feature, I need to be, you know, I was like, oh man, I don't know how to do the things Baz is doing. Like when you came running at me with the steady cam on the following shot, like I was acting, but I was in my head going, oh, this is so cool. That's and it goes back to the point you're trying to make, is just because I've done this doesn't mean I need to come here and use this to go forward. This was then. And it's a true saying, is what they say, you're only as good as your last thing.
That's it.
So you have to keep plugging away and do it, you know.
Not to bring up Ryan again, but I think it was Ryan Connolly who said, if you're not making mistakes, you're not learning.
Perfect.
And if you're not learning, you're not progressing. So never stop learning.
Like I had a conversation with Grace, my oldest daughter. She's 13 on Sunday. So she's like,
on
at
Sunday,
that age.
Oh my God, wow.
13 years old, man. It's insane. I feel so old, and I feel like crying because she's just not she's not a baby anymore. I mean, she's like an actual functioning, full, you know, human.
Person.
Yeah, and you're going like, man, it's insane. But in the silver lining and the plus side, I managed to keep a human, you know, fully working for 13 years. So
fully working.
We're winning. We find the wins when we can, you know. But no, I mean, like, just like talking about films and stuff, and, you know, like YouTube content and things, because, you know, we see Brian is out there and Paddy's out there, and the two boys are killing it. They're killing it. They really are. It's been so great to see it, you know. But for yourself, because I know you have a YouTube channel. Is there any?
Well, actually, before we jump on to my stuff, I just want to praise again Brian and Paddy for the stuff that they're doing. And going back a little bit about my survivor's guilt of when the pandemic started, I actually got very jealous, but also very I was like, these guys are out doing this thing and they're fucking killing it. And I was like, I guess Celtic Badger Media being so collaborative for so long, seeing those guys out there doing stuff, and I'm like, I want to be doing stuff with you. It's like, you guys are, you're doing the things that I want to do, and it was like, I wish I could do it. But the fact that they're doing it and killing it makes me so damn proud, because they're such amazing humans, and I love them both to bits. And finding their niche and working in it and just watching them grow from the outside has been so cool.
I mean, and to go back to what you're saying, is you don't have to feel bad about that, because I was the very same way. I was at home and I was loving seeing all the content coming from Brian and all the content coming from Paddy. And obviously we jumped in and did bits and pieces with them. You know,
Mhm.
we kind of got to kind of like jump in with like the World War Z videos and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Man,
in
they
the
were
back of
fun.
my head, because of how I was kind of like procrastinating savagely hard, and I couldn't seem to get out of my own head and get physically creating, I did hit a span of jealousy, not in a bad way, like not in a, oh,
Yeah,
screw those guys. I was so proud to see it, and I was following it along, and I was so happy to see them creating their own thing,
I
you know,
completely agree.
and doing it so well. But in the back of my head, I was like, oh man, I'm so jealous that I'm not creating anything right now, you know,
I was
because
in exactly the same boat.
it
Exactly
is
the
it,
same boat.
and it was just simply because, you know what I mean. And I think the thing about it is, it's not about the lads creating things and you're not. It's like, you know, you have the tools to do stuff like that. You can
Hmm.
create things, not the way Paddy does or not the way Brian does, but you can create your own thing as well.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that you're not doing it and time is passing, and then it goes back to what we were saying about the baby steps thing. But then you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to be so behind, and oh, I'm not progressing in this. But then, as I said, it all comes down to like when you level your mind out and realize, all right, well, like, just take the steps, man. You're moving, get moving. Doesn't matter how fast you're going, and you will get there. And
Yeah.
sure and behold, months later, I just Brian poking me constantly. I think that's why I started the podcast to begin with, because I got annoyed at Brian. I was like, stop
Brian,
poking me, man. I just want to watch fucking How I Met Your Mother and enjoy it. You know?
you
And
see,
just,
then you finish How I Met Your Mother, and you're like, how I started your podcast.
you want to know the mad thing. You know when you like, you've watched the show too much. It's not even watch the show too much. You know when you are in a mindset where you can't put on a film and concentrate for 2 hours, so you just put on your go-to show. During the pandemic, during the 2020, and because Grace started watching it as well, I rewatched it with her. And then at night time, when I was like trying to like get myself motivated and that failed, I started rewatching it on my own. So I've rewatched How I Met Your Mother 4 times in a 12-month calendar year.
Jesus,
Yeah,
that's
it's
mad.
it's insane. But no, but I was saying about like we're talking with the lads at the YouTube and stuff, like, well, like you obviously you have your YouTube channel as well. It's like, I mean, are you, is there any plans to go back to that and just kind of like work on stuff for it, or just
um,
build content?
I don't know. I get asked a lot about uh, I should do like gear reviews and stuff like that on YouTube, because I'm kind of the tech guy. If in Celtic Badger,
Sure.
if someone is like, I have 600 euros to spend on a camera, what should I get? I'm the
Go
guy
for
who'll
that.
go deep into research about like what kind of stuff do you do, and then which kind of lenses can you get, and then this is the best thing that you can get for the money, and like this is the way to go.
Yeah.
So like I've in the last probably 6 months, I've had Paddy, Martin Nee, and Matt Blaney all tell me that I should start a gear review channel. Um, and I mean, they're not wrong. Like I do love gear. I love talking about it. I love making recommendations. But that market is so flooded. Like there is a million and one like Gerald Dunduns and Philip Blooms and DSLR video shooter, Caleb Pike, all of these people that there's so many. Like I know Film Riot also do gear reviews, but they focus on other content. But it's so flooded, and I was like, I don't know if I can bring anything to that hasn't been done before. Like Brian in his action figure reviews, a great niche, like a really cool space to be in, and he's making a name for himself, and he's getting in with good people. Paddy playing horror video games and survival video games, an amazing niche, and he's built a great audience from it. It's like I just don't know. There's just so many people who are obsessed with gear these days, and I don't know if I can bring anything unique to that space. So I don't know. And then I tried vlogging. That lasted like 2 weeks. I have a whole rake of footage shot that I never even edited. So yeah, probably won't be going back to that. Uh, I I might try and do some more short films on my own, but short films will always go out through the Celtic Badger Media brand. So if you want to see some stuff, that's where everything will be going out. Celtic Badger Media YouTube channel.
Why don't you, because you were on it with the short films and the gear, why
Mm-hmm.
don't you find a way to combine the two and do your own at-home BTS style pre-production shows, like the process of getting geared up?
I did think. Go on.
We call it geared up.
Geared up. Yeah, I like that. I like
There
that.
you go.
I did think about doing a series on how we made the Perished, because the Perished was such a massive undertaking for people with next to no gear. I was like, okay, well, this is how we did a video village, and this is how we reverse engineered this. And then it was like, oh, if you wanted to do it even cheaper, you could do it this way and you would still have a similar effect. That was something that I talked about doing, and like going into everything from sound and lighting and A cam, B cam, video village, in-ears, all that sort of stuff during production. But yeah, I started scripting the first episode and I never got back to it.
I mean, look, you know yourself, and it all comes down to, like, as I said to you, is I have to find chunks of time to do these episodes for the podcast when like the kids are asleep and things like that, because you need to find your windows, and you, as you said, you work a full-time job, and you have to put in time at home and things like that. So it is about finding windows, man. Genuinely, but yeah, I mean, but if I think, like, because if you even look at all the short films we've done over the time, especially under the Celtic Badger, that's not a thing. Don't look that up. Celtic Badger Media umbrella, it like, and all the BTS that's attached and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure like you could make a behind the scenes of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it could be like that, and that's your niche, because I don't really. You see a lot of film stuff, a lot of behind the scenes things, but you never see a show that's based on behind the scenes. And then that's where you could find your knowledge for gear and things like that. And as I said, I gave you a name already, call it Geared Up. If you hate it after 2 weeks, just throw it away, make a new one. Baby steps, baby.
Yeah. I was thinking about like rebranding there not that long ago, and Paddy was like, no, just do it under Being Baz. It was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's one of those other things that I've started and never finished.
Like I hate to be like, as I said, so I said it about Brian, like John, like obviously joking, but like poking me. I won't be the guy that like constantly keeps poking you to do it, because at the end of the day, you know yourself, you have to. It's like anything, you got to find that moment in time where you got to like be ready to jump into it, or even if you are looking to go that way, you know yourself. It's like this podcast, you know. I my brain sparked open. I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to do it, and that'll happen. Is, you know yourself, when you're ready to find that kind of like loophole, like not loophole, but that just spot where you can fit it in. It'll happen, and you'll do a great job, because
I'll figure it out.
And that you will, and I have no doubt you will, because that's just the thing. But look, come here. It's been a crazy fucking year, man, right? And this is
absolutely.
And I say this, right? It has been a crazy year. And the next question is why I say it's a crazy year. Because correct me if I'm wrong. Barry Fahy, you're not a hardcore gamer, right?
Nope.
No, never have been.
Nope.
So the question I have for you is, what has it been like finding a new passion for gaming in 2020?
Yeah, it's been fun, actually. Like, I think I have a PlayStation Plus subscription for the first time ever.
Nice.
Which is fun. Yeah, no, it's been good. Like, I mean, I've always been intrigued by video games, but there was always very specific types of video games that I played. So I would have played like Tomb Raider, and I would have played Tekken, and I would have played like Portal.
Yes.
So essentially what came down to like puzzle games, it was like, that was my thing. It was like, I love puzzle games. But yeah, going from that into like the likes of Fortnite, which I got very into for a while, World War Z, Dead by Daylight, I started playing Gran Turismo just recently.
You know what? I didn't know, but I was on my PlayStation a few weeks ago, and obviously where it says like like who's online and whatever, it comes up and like like the playlist of who's played what, and it said Baz Not a Gamer, Gran Turismo, and I'm like, really?
Yeah. Okay.
No, not in a bad way. That's fucking cool that you decided like, oh, let's go here.
So there's a funny story about Gran Turismo, right? And I told you that me and Connor lived together in college.
Yeah.
My sister's boyfriend, Mark, moved in as well. So there was the three of us. There was a PlayStation 2 on sale, and we each threw in 50 quid. We got a PlayStation 2 and Gran Turismo. we used to take turns doing the license challenges. And over the course of one weekend, we did a full 24-hour Le Mans race in real time.
Wow.
So we actually like did pit stops and swapped out drivers, and then you would drive for a couple of hours, and then when you get tired, we would swap out and we'd pit, and then someone else would take over, and we did a full 24-hour race. It was crazy.
Because I mean, when it comes to like gaming and things, for me, it's like I love fighting games. Like I own Tekken and I own Street Fighter and Soul Calibur and things like that. But and especially in 2020, this is why I asked, like, because if it's not online, those games become very boring very fast.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, because obviously they're 2-player games. It's like the wrestling games I play. Like I can play it all day long, but I thought it was more fun with friends. But outside of like the Fortnites and things like that, like, have you found yourself like coming like playing games that you never would have touched, like story-based games or things like that?
Like story-based games have always been something that I've been intrigued with. Like I loved like the story that was in the original Tomb Raider, even though the graphics were like potatoes that were rubbed together. But yeah, I really been intrigued by it, and I just kind of got out of video games. I had an Xbox for a while, but actually the game that kind of brought me back into like PlayStation stuff like that was Until Dawn.
So good.
Yeah, it's so good. So I actually ended up watching Jacksepticeye play through Until Dawn, and I got really invested in the characters. So I was like, I have to get this game. So I got a PlayStation, I got the game, and I actually made my wife and my sister play through it because I didn't want to make any choices because I knew kind of what happened. Yeah. So I wanted to see them make their choices and see how it went. So I had more fun watching them play than actually playing it myself. And
funny
then
thing that you say that is because you were saying about V, your wife, and your sister, playing the game. It's my partner Lisa. She's not a gamer. Like she has no interest, zero interest. Outside of Mario, she'll play Mario and things. But,
nice.
But actually story-based games, not a whole. But she actually sat down and played that entire game through. Like
nice.
I was like, that's how you know, like it's big because it's a different type of thing. And then you have like the Man of Medan and Little Hope now, the new one that's out.
Yeah, I haven't played those yet.
Check those
out. They're on the list. But as you mentioned, my gamer tag is Baz Not a Gamer, which is pretty much me in a nutshell. But like I have never played some major titles. Like I've never played The Last of Us. That's on my to play list. I've never played any of the BioShock games. What other things can I say to embarrass me that I haven't played? I have played GTA, so I've got that one. But there's other like major title games that I've never played. And the only game that I think I've ever gotten close to platinuming was the last Spider-Man game, not the Miles Morales one. The
epic thing that was Spider-Man. It was so good.
So good.
Yeah, made phenomenal. Me cry. Like legit made me tear up.
Legit. No spoilers, but fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, powerful game.
Amazing game. And again, I played that with V because she was like into the story. She was like, "What happens next?" And yeah, so
Go on.
No, there is games that I've played, but I've never played like up until this year. I've never played like World War Z or PUBG or any of those games until we started playing together. And Paddy was like, "This is a 4-player multiplayer. Let's try it."
World War Z was a good time, man.
Yeah, like, dude,
that's what you need to do. You need to poke Paddy to get him to go back and finish that and to get us on again because that was so much fun. No, dude,
he wants to do it live on Twitch now. Yeah, there you go.
Then you will see a Tubbs' brain melt, not because of the game and the hordes and the zombies coming at me, because I will not have a clue.
Yeah, he does a series now called Whatever Wednesdays, and he was like, "Yeah, we should do a live World War Z." I was like, "Yes."
Wow. Yeah, I mean, look, come here. I mean, if I can.
Well, all you have to do is play the game.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can walk me through how to play it and stuff, or like to link in and whatever we need to do, I'll totally do it.
It'll be basically exactly the same as the 4-screen thing we did the last time.
Oh yeah, so it's Discord connection
Yeah,
type thing. Yeah. Okay, well,
correct.
I can do that. You know,
Yeah,
so
we got
Paddy
through
can
that
just
one.
take care of the Twitch thing.
Yeah,
Oh man, are you telling me he wants to go live with the four of us on Twitch?
yep,
You're giving me a live mic
yeah, I know,
on
yeah.
World War Z, Bez? You've played this game with me. That's not wise.
We'll see what happens.
We'll
I'm
see
sure
what
Paddy
happens.
has
Like,
like a kill switch.
oh yeah, just to get it, just flick this thing away. Like, but no,
Yeah,
if I was to like suggest games to you, like you know what I mean, which is kind of like just because you're kind of in like the bubble of that the world is right now, when you kind of have a bit more free time at home and things. I mean, you probably don't, but you know when you find
yeah.
pockets that you can. Um, Days Gone. Have you heard of this game?
I have heard of Days Gone. I've never played Days Gone.
I suggest that Brian O'Regan had played it, but I told him like you need to go back and finish it because a lot of people slept on that game when it came out. It's basically if Sons of Anarchy, Walking Dead, and 28 Days Later had a baby.
Okay, I've watched one of those.
Yeah, so it's bikers. It's like you're a biker gang, but it's like obviously apocalyptic Walking Dead type scenario, and these freakers are like running. Like they run at you and they come at you in hundreds. It's if your anxiety has been tipped, this game will shoot it over the wall. It's insane, but it's as you were saying about good story. This game is just it's hours it takes to finish it, but I actually platinumed it recently, and I
Nice.
don't do that. Like Paddy Murphy, our friend, as you well know, once he starts the game, he is a completionist, and he will shoot
Yes.
it. He will keep going and going and going until he gets that like 100% or that platinum trophy. I've never been that way, but for this game, I couldn't stop. Like I genuinely could not put it down. I couldn't stop. I had to keep going. And when I realized I was close to it, it spun me on even more. I was going, oh,
Yeah.
2% off this trophy. I need to find the things to give me this trophy,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I went a bit
Nice.
mental with it. But yeah, so like within like as I said, with the creativity and you're finding kind of a new niche with the game, and then kind of trying to so that you probably wouldn't have had before, which is great to see because
Mm.
it's a great outlet for just killing some time and just kind of like you know easing the brain in. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I've obviously, as I said, been just I was kind of in the backlog of my own mind last year. Now I'm kind of like I'm getting back out at it and getting creativity buzzing as well. And is there anything that's kind of are you kind of just like not taking a step back or just are you but if are you just taking like a relaxing kind of approach to things at the moment and just as you go
Uh,
forward? For now,
Not
like
really.
no, you're
Like
still pretty
I
busy. Like,
said, yeah, I'm still working, and up until 2 weeks ago, we were actually working shift, so we were doing 6 a.m. to half two shift, which means I had to leave my house by 5. And then we were doing 2 till half 11, which means I didn't get home till, or sorry, half 10. So I didn't get home till half 11. So and that was every second week. So that was pretty exhausting for a long time.
are you
But
working? Are you working shifts now?
no, we just finished 3 weeks ago. So
So
I'm
you're
back
back
to,
on days.
yeah. So this is the third week now, and I'm just starting to like settle out and get a routine going.
Yeah.
So I think from now on, I think I'll be able to figure out more patterns and be able to kind of get back to doing
Yeah.
stuff that I used to do outside work rather than just, when your alarm goes off at 4:30 every morning, and you have to be out the door by 5, it was pretty torture. I'd come home and have a nap some days. I'd just be so exhausted.
Are you
But
working tomorrow?
yeah,
What time?
I'm in at 8, so I'd be leaving at 7.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. Okay. So you've a pretty early rise in the morning, don't you?
Always.
Yeah. That's. I
But
mean.
on the plus side, I finish early enough that I can get home early enough, so
Yeah. I
it's
mean.
not so bad.
I'm up at 7:30 most mornings with the twins. Like they have
Mhm.
no concept of like sleeping in. They like the minute their eyes open, they're like, oh, let's go downstairs and like watch TV and have breakfast. I'm like, oh, I fell asleep at 5 o'clock, lads, because I'm an idiot. I'm going like leave me alone today. But no, it's crazy when you got to be up. But the only thing about it is, right, as you said, it's head wrecking when you got to be up that early, when you got to be kind of up when the rest of the world is still kind of like asleep. But once you can build a process around that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and build a routine, you know, you find yourself actually having a lot more productivity throughout the
Yeah,
entire day.
and that's it. And even in the last like 2 weeks, I've started to kind of find myself working more towards like films again. Like even I was at work the other day and I messaged Paddy. I thought of an idea for like a short that'd be
Yeah.
really funny. So I messaged him straight away and it was like, "What do you think of this idea?" And he was like, "Oh, if you do it kind of like this," and I was like, "Yes, that's hilarious." So now I'm kind of like building up those ideas, and I shot a film 2.5 years ago that I directed, that Matt Blaney shot, that I never edited. And my plan was to edit that film while the Perish post-production was happening, but then I ended up taking on a lot of that edit. So that film got pushed to the side, and I was like, oh, lockdown's coming. I'll do it in lockdown. But I never locked down. So I didn't get the chance to go back to it. So
I totally get that, man, because it's like I was talking to you before about the film I made called Rose.
Mhm.
It like I'd have to go back and check the timestamps, but I think I shot that thing 5 years ago at this point now. And
Jesus.
but as you said, it's because we got so busy over time and we were constantly
It'd
doing
be
stuff
more
like
than 5 years, though, would it not? Because Framed was what, 6 years ago?
maybe, yeah. So it's been sitting there, but now I'm as I said to you a while ago, finding the pockets. I've now found a pocket years later to
Yeah,
get it done. So you'll get that movie back on the editing timeline, and you will knock that out.
I will
You
eventually.
will. Oh no, come here. Look, as I said, all these things fall into place, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like I think we personally put too much pressure on ourselves to finish these things when. Do you know what I mean? As I said, I look at a film I shot years ago and I'm going, oh, that's a dead project. I'll never see the light of day. And I'm kind of going, and then the other day it was like, you know what? There's nothing stopping me from doing this. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I wanted to go out and I want to finally get it finished because, you know, in that sense, I am a bit of a completionist. Once I start something, it might take 4 or 5 years to start or
But
finish,
you'll get there.
but I do get there. I'm a slow burn, if you will,
Yeah.
you know. But well, come here. Look, as I said, we all have our kind of like our weights in our head and our fucking, you know, like weights on our shoulders that we're trying to carry, you know, through the world and just kind of like day to day. Like, but look, come here. As I think I've always said, you know me, I'm always like throwing out these crazy things. But the one I've always kind of stuck by, advice wise, is that if your legs ain't, but if your knees don't buckle and you're able to stand up straight and even crack half a smile, you'll be all right. You'll do okay. That's kind of the way I look at it, you know.
Yeah,
Kind
man.
of what Paddy says to me the entire time, Baz, that like I have this like weirdly annoying optimism about things. Whereas like the house could be burning, but I'm like, yeah, but look, if you look at the silver lining of it, dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's still
But all of our
bricks
food is
standing.
cooked.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, I think, and I genuinely had this moment in 2020. I'm not even going to lie to you, where I think I even text Paddy, and I think it was on the lines of like something like, do you know that optimism? I think I finally lost it because I was
Mm,
just in that mindset. You know what I mean? But at the same time, being in that mindset and then looking 6, 7 months on, I'm not in that mindset anymore. So it is a
yeah.
proof of concept that you we it's pretty fucking annoying that we got to roll through all this like, you know, crappy mud to get to like the silver, you know,
Yeah.
shiny
Like, I
thing at the
mean,
end.
like I'm again going back to that survivor's guilt thing. I'm not going to say that, you know, this hasn't been a tough year. Like it really has. And it's put a lot of pressure on a lot of people.
Mm.
Again, I feel like I'm on the lucky side of that, you know, I got to keep my job and I got to keep my routine and stuff like that, because I'm also an essential worker essentially. Um, but you know, there has been other tragedies that the world has come through. There's been world wars. There's been, you know, entire villages destroyed and people have pulled back. So I mean, with vaccines on the horizon and then starting to roll out, you know, the the dawn is coming. You know, like it may be summer, it may be after, but you know, we can see the sun rising.
Yeah.
It will get there, and we will get through it.
And you know something? I think there is no better way to finish this episode because we got deep as balls on that one, Bez. You know, and I think that is we brought you pop culture, we brought you, you know, tales of movies, and we ended it with an absolutely deep level of, you know, sun is going to shine brighter, and it will. But come
And it
here,
will.
you
Absolutely.
know something? You go get some sleep because you have to be up early in the morning. You know,
That I do.
but but look, come here, Bez, as always. Look, if you want to come back on the show again any other night and just, you know, like, I'll even make you a deal. If you want to come back on the show, I will let you pick the premise that we speak about.
Ooh, flip flop. I pick the topics.
You pick the topics and we will conversate between us. Yes.
Let's do that. I'm down.
Okay. So that is a promise from me to you right now. You come back on the show, we will do that.
I look forward to it.
Well, look, Amir, it's been absolutely brilliant having you on. I've enjoyed the last two episodes with you. It's been a great conversation. I think we dug into a lot of different things, and we actually, you know, had some deep conversations in this one, and it's really been good. Well, look, this is the TwistedTubz podcast. I am your host, Stephen Tuberty, aka TwistedTubz. Again, this beautiful human. I don't know which side he's on, but he is Barry Fahy, is being Baz, and he has been fantastic.
Thanks, Billy. Bye.